So in the last class, we were talking about how to go ahead and use the imperative services provided by LWC. So provided by LWC and LDS. So how did we use the imperative services? So there are methods which are available. We have been using those methods either to save or to delete, right? So we have seen how to go ahead and delete the record. This is the example. We have added the one button on the HTML to delete it. So on clicking of that button, we have deleted this. And then we have been writing the wire method. So we had written the wire method. And from the Apex class, we were pulling the data and displaying the wire method. I think we were having the different to pull the complete data table we had created, right? LDS. What was the name of that? This is wire.
Wire LDS.
Wire LDS. But this has only the contact, first name, last name, phone number is displaying it. So this is for to delete it. What was it? Just a second. Let's go to the developer console. Preview. Right, okay. That is 1805. All right, yeah, this is the one. So data table. So inside the data table, we were taking the record. So what it was happening is, so whenever we populate the data here, so whenever we run this app, what it does is it basically goes to the server side, get the data and display the data on the UI. Get the data from server side to the client side, and then it is displaying the data. So here, if you see it's also based on the type. If it is a type equal to text, it shows in normal text. If it is a type equal to phone, then this is the phone. And if it is an email, it shows in an email format. Let's customize this more in depth here. So what we can do is, here, this is only just a viewable one, right? So let's make it these two text as a editable. So in order to make it editable, in the column, we have to say editable. What is this? We have to say editable equal to true. So editable equal to true. Let's make it first time as the editable equal to true, and second is also editable equal to true. Right? We cannot make the editable on the HTML side. If I want any field to be editable, then we have to, in the column, I have to mention this editable equal to true. So let's deploy this and see whether I'm able to edit it or not. Refresh. right? So now if you see that as soon as I hover my mouse, it shows me edit, right? But on edit, if I change anything, I do not have the save method here. I do not have save method either in the HTML or in the JavaScript. I just give the editable equal to true. So what we will do is, in order to make save, let's go ahead and use the on save equal to, let's say that handle save. So let's go ahead and use the handle save. Right? If I have this function, whenever I edit, as soon as I edit, I can click on the save button. That will allow me to save the record into the Salesforce. Also, we have something called draft values. What is this draft values? So whenever I edit, right? Whenever I edit, I want the data to be stored somewhere in the draft variable. So for that, we can create a one function here, which is a okay. Now let's go back. Handle save. So right now I have the get constant, right? So let's declare the my function event. Now, what are the couple of things that we wanted to do is, first thing here, we are going to update it, right? I'm making the changes, and as soon as I make changes, I want, basically I'm updating the record. So where is the update record? In the Imperation, one of the method, create, update, delete. So yesterday we have seen create and delete. So now we are going to see it as an update. So for the update, what I need is I have to first import it, import the update record. So for that, update record, where from Lightning UI record API. So the first thing I have to import it. Now, after importing this, so the what is the method to use? Same method. I have to pass the record data here and dot then dot catch. Right? This is the method. But whenever I'm editing the data here, I have to bring it from the HTML to JavaScript, right? In order to bring the data from HTML to JavaScript, basically I'm updating the API field. This is the Salesforce API field. So I need to get those API fields first. I need to get the fields. So for that, I have to import first name, equal to only two fields. I will take it, first name field and last name, because we have the edit option on only those two. From, so how to capture the fields? Salesforce schema contact dot my first name. Right. So same thing I need it for last name. Also, it is better to capture the ID as well. last name, and then I have ID field. Okay. Because on update, if I do not have the API field, Salesforce API field, it cannot be stored into the Salesforce database. So the first thing I have to get this. I have to get the Salesforce API fields into the one of the variable. So for that I have imported. Now the next thing is that what are the other things we need? We have a draft value. Let's save this draft value as an array. Let's assume that draft value is array. I do not have any data for now. On the initialization, I do not have anything. Now inside this handle save data, whenever user clicks on the save, right, the first thing I wanted to have the list of the fields that I wanted to save. Const fields equal to array, empty array. The next fields, now I wanted to set that fields of what are the fields that I have? ID field. ID field, what is this? ID field dot field API. This is the field API. Right, this is the field API. So from where I wanted to capture and store this information, I wanted to get it from event dot details dot draft value. Whatever the user enter the draft value, I'll be getting that and storing into ID. Right? And the next one, fields. What is the next one? I have first name field. First name field is the field API. Let's take the field API. Get the value that is user entered, event dot detail dot draft value. So I'm just taking the one record here. If you want, we can do the for loop also. So first name, and the next one I have the last field name. Let me copy this, save it. Last field name, here the last name. Right, now I have the field set is ready. List of the fields that I wanted to save is ready. Now I have to pass it to the update record, right? So what I can do is I can build the const, whatever this record data is, the record data equal to, let's set all my fields here, right? Now that's it. Let's push this to deploy this to Salesforce. Refresh. Okay, let's go down. Okay, now as soon as I edit, right now I'm getting the save button. Right, I have edited con 454. Here I'm writing the, let's take something unique, Andy. So Andy man right? I'm updating the first name here, handyman, and here HYD. Let's save it. Reading 0, undefined, something error, uncaught error, uncaught type error, cannot read the property of undefined reading 0. Reading 0. Draft value. Draft value. Right. 0.id. So I'm just taking the only one record. Let's refresh. One, two, three, four. Now let's say where is the problem? Event dot detail dot draft value 0 id.
In the draft value, nothing is here, right? So they're calling it.
It's nothing here, but as soon as you enter the data, it stores in the draft values. Maybe the
So okay,
value.
contacts data will be stored into the draft values you are saying, right?
Yeah, so I have given the wrong one. Draft values. Let's see this. Control S. Let's save this. Event dot detail dot draft values of 0. Control Shift P, deploy this to source hub. Okay. Let's refresh. One, two, three, four. Right, it's saved. So let's go ahead and refresh my accounts. What was that? Bad. Oh, that is a contact, right? Yeah. See here, Padberry 1234. It's saving it. So I'll remove and I'll just say new and let's save it. Let's go and refresh. And now it shows Padberry new. It is saving it, but it seems like here it's still in edit mode, right? So what I'll do is, before that, the problem is we have to always use the draft values here. If I use anything, if T is also missed here or V small letter, it may not work. The standard one, what are the draft values is there, same name, we have to use it without hyphen. So that's how it is working. Now, the next thing is that as soon as I click on save, as soon as I click on a save button, I wanted to refresh the complete page. whatever the data table is there, I wanted to refresh because it doesn't tell me whether this is updated or not. It still shows in yellow color. That means it is a edit mode. So for refreshing page, we have a something which is a inbuilt within the LWC. That is a refresh apex. So let's import. So we have a inbuilt one, refresh apex. From, we have to use it from Lightning UI record API. This is the inbuilt function refresh apex. So when I wanted to do the refresh, as soon as the record is saved successfully. So that means I have to write it in the then, right? So in then we have a parameter called response. Response, inside this, we have to build the JSON. As soon as my response is successful, let's put the alert so that I'll know that the cursor is coming here. Record updated successfully. Now, so the cursor is coming here. Now the next thing is that what I wanted to do, I wanted to use the refresh apex, but before the refresh apex, let's put all the draft values that are entered by the user. Let's make them as a null. So this dot, that means I'm removing the old one. Whatever the user entered, I'm removing them. So let's make the draft values are empty. Then execute the refresh apex. In order to execute the refresh apex, we have to use the return refresh apex. And inside this, we have to pass the data that is getting from Salesforce. Right? Now let's go ahead and push this. Okay. Let's refresh. Okay, now I'm updating Pat Berry to Pat John. Okay. Now let's click on a save. It did not apply. Yeah, it came alert. So record updated successfully. The alert came here. Refresh apex is not a function. Is there any spelling mistake? REFRESH, refresh apex. Why it is not a function? Let's check the component library. Refresh apex in LWC. Why it is not a function? Oh, refresh apex from apex, right? Oh, okay. So I have taken it from the UI record API. So this is not a right. So we have to take that from @Salesforce apex. So refresh apex, we have to pull it from Salesforce apex. Now it should work. Deploy this source to org. Now let's go here. refresh. Okay, it updated John. Let's go back and put back Tom. Save. Record updated successfully. I did not refresh it. This dot contacts. What is the problem here? This dot contacts. Yes. Because my Y data will be on the contacts. Let me do hard refresh. Okay. Fine. Let's change it to green 1, 2, 3, 4. Save. Yes. Let's see what is the problem here. So console dot log. Let's debug this. Okay. So by the way, LWC debugging component library. Okay. In order to debug the LWC, it's not easy to debug on the app because we cannot put the debugger. Debugger does not work. In Lightning Aura, we usually put the debugger, right? So that whenever the cursor hit here, it will stop and it will open the developer console in the web. But here it does not work. In LWC, it does not work debugger. So only the place which we can do is we have to open the inspect. Okay, console, refresh everything. Let's change it to Davis today. Okay, now let's click on save. Perfect. Testing is coming perfect. Let's go. What is happening here? Let me put debug. Let's save. Right testing. Why it is not working? It's going to refresh Apex, right? Let's click on save. Okay. in LWC. So refresh Apex, why it is not working? Refresh Apex is from Salesforce Apex. Yes, that is what we have done, Salesforce Apex. And this start wide list account. Yes, that is the exactly we gave. Dot then. Yeah, that is what I have given. So which is in the then. So as soon as a successful is done, the response we are getting it. And we are placing here. Seriously, let me try that. This dot underscore comment control shift P, deploy these results. Refresh. Okay. So here 1, 2, 3, 4. Save. Okay. I guess it is not working. Something has changed, seems like. But ideally, this is the format, refresh Apex. Inside this, we have to give the wire variable. Let me put this Control Shift P. Deploy this to source arc. Refresh. It's saving the data, but it's not refreshing it. Saving the data. But it is not refreshing the data. Ideally, this should refresh entire thing. Okay. So sometimes this toast messages refresh, or maybe it is not in the Salesforce. It's outside of the app message. It's in the Lightning app. Maybe that is the reason it is not working. Let me add is exposed to true. And targets, right inside these targets, we have a target lightning app page, then target lightning record page, target lightning home page, lightning home page. So let's deploy this. Let me add on the contact record. Or I can add it anywhere, but let me add it in the contact. Let's edit the page. And our component is wire LDS. Let me put it here. Perfect. Save. Go back. Okay, now let me edit this. Save. Record submitted successfully. It's not even giving the error. Maybe I have to see the refresh apex. But ideally, refresh apex is used to refresh the data whatever we have entered. So that for that purpose we use it. I'll see offline what is the problem with this. Maybe the latest release might have changed something. So we'll check that. Let's go ahead and let's create one more scenario. Let's assume that on the app message, I'm searching a data. Whenever I search a data, I wanted to get the list of the records that are matching. So let's implement that in the LWC. So on searching of the, for example, I'm searching a contact record. I entered Pat. So when I search the record here, it should give me the details of contact whenever it matches. So for that, first let's create a Apex class. Control Shift P, create a Apex class. CL underscore 1905. Underscore. Let's say that this is a wire2, right, classes. So what is the thing that I need is, I need @ or I enable. Okay. So inside this or I enabled, static, and the return value will be list of contact. And the method name is find contact. Find contacts. And inside this, I have to pass the search key. Whatever the user is searching it, I have to pass that key. Let's say that search text. Now let's set that search text into the key because I have to add the percentage. percentage in front of the text and after that also. Because anything matches with this text, it has to pull all the records. So basically this is a like operator. So what I wanted to return select ID comma, I need a name, comma, phone, comma, email from contact, where let's assume that my first name like the key, whatever the key I have. Right, this is the method, and aura enable should be the cacheable equal to true. Cacheable equal to true. Right. So this is my class. Whatever the user is searching on the UI end, I'm just passing it to the Apex class. Now let's go ahead and create the, first we have to deploy this Apex class. Ctrl+Shift+P, deploy this source to org, and then we can create a LWC component. Create a LWC. So LWC underscore 1905 underscore, this is also by2. Right, let's create the LWC component. Now first let's implement the UI, then we'll come back to the client side. So inside this template, I need a one input to enter the search key. So for that, let's put the lightning card. And the title equal to search context or search contact, simply search contact. Okay, and then let's close this. Inside the lightning card, let me put the lightning input, lightning hyphen input, because I need a one input to enter the text. Label equal to, let's put enter the search text. Okay. Enter the search text, and type should be, let's say it's a search, right? So let's put the search. So value will be stored into the, let's store the value into search key. And then on change, whenever the user keep on enter the data, let's use the on change equal to, let's assume that handle change. Handle change. Yes. Handle change. And then close it. I have an input field. The label is enter the search text. And the type is search because we are searching it. It's not a text. Value, I wanted to store the one value. And whenever I'm entering the any letters, I wanted to fire the handle change function. This is fine. Now, let's assume that my data is stored into the contact. So in that case, if my data is successful, then I wanted to display the name. Whenever we are searching it, if I find the data, I have to display the name. Else I will display the error. So for that, what we will do is, let me implement template. If I have to write or if condition, implement if true. What is the true value here? If I have the contact, contact is a wide variable. Contact dot data. If I have a value, then go ahead and implement something. Now same thing I need it for error. In case if there is any error happens, right? If there is any error happens, I'll simply show the text message. Sorry, we cannot display your record due to. We can give the contact dot error. What are the error we are getting it from the client side controller? We can simply display that contact dot error, and we can say that please try later. So this is the text message which I wanted to display it. Okay, but if it is a successful, if I have a more than one record, 10 records, or I might find the one record, I might find 10 records. If I have a 10 records, I wanted to display all the 10 records, right? So in that case, I have to loop through the each contact. So let's go ahead and implement the template for each. For each, what is the data that I wanted to go through it? Contact dot data, right? And then I have to declare a for item. So let's give it as a con. Okay. Inside this, in order to display the data, we have to use the paragraph. Paragraph has the error because we have to use the key equal to con dot id. Let's say small id. Then here I'll display the con dot name. I'll display contact name. Right. This is what I want from UI. Whenever they are searching it, if it is a successful, I have the data, loop through all the data and display the name. But if there is any error, show me the error. So this is my HTML. Let's go ahead and implement. What are the things that I needed here is basically one thing on change. I have to implement the function. Event, right? This is one. And then I need a search key. Search key will be the private key, private decorator. So one is the search key. Then what else I need? I need contact. So for contact, it has to hold the data, right? It has to hold the data. So in order to hold the data, I need to implement @var. Now, inside this var, I have to get first the apex method. Import. What is my apex method name? Find contacts. Find contacts from Salesforce apex. This is the y2 dot this method. Okay. Now I have the find contacts data that is coming from the server side. So let's put it into the var. Okay, so var, I need to write here var. Okay. Now contact, I'm storing into the contact. But for the find contacts, we have a parameter called search text. I need to pass some text from the JavaScript to the Apex controller. So in order to pass that, this is my variable, right? For passing the parameters, I have to pass it in the JSON format. First, write what is the value that is expected from the Apex class, and then colon, what is the value that I'm passing? Search key. Search key, I'm passing it, but it has to be in the quotes. when we put in the quotes, ideally anybody who can understand this is a hard coded value. Yes, but in order to make the system to understand this is not hard coded value, we have to use the dollar. If we mention dollar in the quotes and the search key, that means system will understand this is not a hard coded value, it is passed from the JavaScript controller. Now this is done. I'm getting the contact information. Okay, this is perfect. What is the handle change? Whenever there is a user is entering the data, I wanted to store that information here, search key. So that search key will pass into the Apex class. From Apex class, I'll get the data and store it into the contact tool. And once I have the data in contact tool, then it will display the data here. Okay. So now the thing is that as soon as the user entered the data, I wanted to store that into the search key. So this dot search key equal to event.target.value. That's it. Okay, now everything is done. Oh, there is no issues. Okay, perfectly fine. Right click on this, rename. Let's copy this. Let's copy the Lightning web component. Let's go to the Lightning app and then C column our LWC component name. Let's comment out the previous one. Okay, now update preview. Perfect. It is giving the search icon because the type we have given as a search. If we would have given this here text, then this icon won't display. If we wanted to display the icon, then we have to use the search type equal to search. Now let's start and search it. See here, it is giving the values. Right, when I search P, it is giving me, and RT. Whenever it might not start with RT. Wherever in the text, wherever in the name, I find the RT, it is displaying it. All right. So right now it is displaying only the name. But if I want, along with the name, if I wanted to display the phone number, and then I wanted to display the email, right? This is a name. And then I want the phone number. So what I can do is simply I can con.phone. The API key we have to give field API, and then con.email. Let's put this email. Okay, let's save this. Control-Shift-P. Deploy this to source org. Okay. Now let's refresh. Okay. When I search Pat, it is giving me the name, phone number, email, name, phone number. There is no email for Padberry, so it's not giving me the data. So whatever the format I wanted, I can build that. Right? So for example, let's assume that I want the format in the data table format. Okay. So I want in the data table. What we can do is here we can implement the Lightning data table. Lightning hyphen data table. And for the data table, what are the values that is required? One is key field. So let's give the ID. And then I need the data. Data will be equal to, data will be my contact dot data. Right, contact dot data. And then I need most important thing is columns. So I have to implement the column COL. Let's close it. So only thing I have to I need only the column because I have a data here. Only the column I have to implement. Let's save it. Let's go here. So in order to implement column, let's say that const column equal to right. Okay. What I need here, label, and then I need field API. That is a field name, and then I need a type. These are the details which I needed, comma separated. Why it is giving me there. Okay, let's see that. So what are the details? I need a name, phone, and email. These are the three things I needed. The first one is name, and then I have a phone, and then I have an email, right? And the field name, my field names are name. For the phone, it's a phone, and for the email. Okay, type is, for the name type is text. For the phone type is phone. And for the email type is email. Perfectly fine. Let's, okay. Now I have the column. Let's take this column and set it into the COL. Okay, now I have data table also implemented. Control-Shift-P. Deploy this source to org. Now refresh. So by default, column will be displayed. Let's say PAT. Here it is. So if we want in this format, we can do it in this format, or if we want it in the text, we can do it in the text. So which are the way we want, we can implement it. So these are the different scenarios that comes into the real time, mostly in the community cloud. So in the community cloud, we have a lead, contact, cases. This information is available, right? So whenever if user is searching the lead, they wanted to get the details. In that case, what we can do is we can simply implement the data table. Whenever they are searching it, display the data. And we can give here one hyperlink. As soon as I click on this hyperlink, it should redirect it to me the contact record. So we can implement all of those. Clear?
Yeah, clear.
Okay. So today this is what is done. So basically today we covered the update record with the different scenarios. Let me stop recording.